Today we are hitting it nostalgically from the back. Try another anthology from the two horror legends themselves, the writer, the master, Stephen King, and the late great George A. Romero, in their hard dedication on Creepshow from 1982, and we're going to be talking about Creepshow 2. But not only are we going to be talking about these two films, we are going to be ranking each segment individually. So many memorable moments that creeped me out as a kid, some that made me laugh, some that just had that 80s/90s aesthetic vibe and chill ambiance to it. Let's talk about it. What up, y'all? Welcome back to Fandom of the Indie Review. I'm your host, Comic Book Dill. We're on the journey of 4,000 subscribers. By whenever we get there, and honestly, we're very, very close. I'm excited to talk about this shit. Let's do it. If you want to be a part of this community, ask the commenters down below how much fun we have, and they'll tell you. But yeah, let's do it. Come hang out and give me a subby. Horror comic books had a stranglehold on the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and we've got many beautiful adaptations from it. Creepshow happens to be one of my most near and dear to my heart. Tales from the Crypt, obviously, with how much we've consumed of that on this channel, you know the Crypt Keeper's my boy. But Creepshow is just very fun, and it was well made, dude. Starting off with a young boy getting in trouble for having his fucking comic books underneath his bed, and his dad's flipping out, bro. He's like, comic books, those are for pussies, dude. And he's like, Dad, at least they're not nudie magazines. At least I'm freaking trying to read like scary shit. At least I'm not fucking cheating on mom. And the dad's not having this. And it has such a beautiful, potent aesthetic to the imagery and the vibe. It reminds you of your childhood, even if you didn't grow up in the 80s and 90s. You know, a nice, cool, crisp fall night. And then the graphic and design of the creature staring back at Billy, pretty much enticing him to read this comic book. It's just so fun. But there are 8 segments between part 1 and part 2. Part 2 I love just as much. Both films, they have a theme threaded throughout where Billy is getting in trouble from his dad, but in the second one is more of a cartoon, kind of like the October Tree, the Halloween Tree vibe. It's a cartoon about a kid running down from his bullies, and that one's just as fun. But like I said, there are 8 segments between, so we're gonna fucking rank them. And this is all my opinion. Again, if you disagree with it, I'm sorry. Just comment down below what you would have your list as. I'm gonna talk pretty deeply about most of them, except for number 8, the one that I despise the most. And if you disagree with it right off the rip and have to exit, you'll be back. They always come back. Coming in at number 8, I just do not like this one, no matter how many times I've seen it. As a child, I fucking thought it was the most boring thing I've ever saw, and then I rewatched it again last night just to make sure, and it still sucked. And it's the only one in the whole franchise that is bad. They're Creeping Up on You. Upson Pratt is a ruthless, cruel business mogul who suffers from misophobia, which has rendered him living in a hermetical, sealed penthouse apartment outfitted with electronics and surveillance cameras. Misophobia pretty much is the fear of contamination and germs, and he takes it to the extreme. Again, the aesthetic and vibe of his like all white out apartment is cool, and then as bugs start slowly creeping in, he starts losing his mind. And the acting is fine and the story is good, but it shouldn't have been the closeout for the movie. I genuinely thought the story was kind of boring all around. I mean, bugs don't scare me, but even if they did, it's just like, I don't know. This one just went over my head. Number 7 from Creepshow 1 is The Crate. Don't get me wrong, the practical effects and design of the creature that is in this one is very fun, and it does have some pretty gnarly, brutal kills. But essentially, the vibe is this one extraordinarily mid homeboy who resents his wife and fantasizes about killing her finally gets a chance to kill her. During the midst of all this, there's a janitor who works at the university, and as he is poking around doing his job, he stumbles into a crate that says Arctic Expedition June 1934, and it's hidden underneath the staircase. And what is revealed to be inside of this crate is this weird abominable snowman yeti fucking creepy looking monster. I don't know exactly what it is. It's very primal, very primate, and this creature starts tearing people apart limb from limb. And I really find like the backstory and lore behind that very interesting. A crate that says Antarctic Expedition in the 1930s, it's like, that's creepy. How long has he been down in this basement? Why is he in this basement? How did he survive so long? So as all that's happening, Dexter and his homeboy Henry are just like fucking living their life to the fullest, and Henry's wife Wilma, or you can call her Billy, they seem to be the central protagonists of this story. And again, it's a very slow build. The whole time Henry's just fantasizing about killing his wife, but then when Dexter goes to the college and sees this carnivorous monster firsthand and escapes the clutches of it as a few people got picked off, Henry has a genius idea where he's like, I'm gonna take my wife to this crate and have her get killed. And it just builds beautifully. It's kind of a fun story. It's not the best, it's not the worst. The acting is great. Throughout both these movies, the acting is pretty good. But that one was pretty fun. Number 6 is the climax story of Creepshow Part 2, The Hitchhiker. Annie Lansing, a Maine businesswoman, wakes up and gets out of bed after sleeping with her gigolo lover. Yeah, dude, she's a fucking hoe for show. She realizes that her husband, George, is only 15 minutes away, so she's like, shit, I'm gonna get caught sleeping with this op, and I gotta do something about it. So she hops into her car and races miles away, try to avoid, being caught, or what, I don't fucking know, but as she's doing this, she gets distracted, and she accidentally runs over a hitchhiker. And this one slowly builds, and it's creepy and eerie as she lives with the guilt, the torment, driving, and she kills the hitchhiker, and he essentially comes back from the dead to stalk her, and it's very creepy, it's very eerie, it's full throttle, no pun intended. It's just a fun story that has an even better ending. This one is just kind of like lower on the list because there are obviously better ones. The design and look of the dead hitchhiker is really creepy. How he's like, hey lady, can I get a ride? It's kind of freaky too. And the main girl, she is a great actress, and you love to hate her. You like, dude, get your comeuppance, because the whole time she's like, if I can't live with the guilt, maybe I'll turn myself in. So it's like everything that happens to her from here on out, it's like very Tales from the Crypt-esque, where it's like, oh, you deserve this. Number 5 is from Creepshow 1, and it's called Something to Tide You Over. Richard Vickers is a vicious and heartless millionaire, and if that's not bad enough, he finds out that his wife is having an affair against him with some dude named Henry, with a dude named Harry, and instead of just killing Harry cold-bloodedly, or, killing his wife and and the lover, let's just say this millionaire has a lot of times on his hand, and he hatches a diabolical scheme where he pretty much buries them both up to their neck in sand, and not at the same time, not in the same area. He fucking makes Harry know what's going on, and he just tortures the hell out of him. And the casting is great. It's Ted Danson who plays Harry, and then the Leslie Nielsen, I think his name is. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they have such great chemistry together, and it's like you're rooting for Harry, even though, yeah, he is the one that's kind of like going against Richard and sleeping with Richard's wife. So it's like one of those fine lines where it's like, yeah, the fucking infidelity is brutal, but this dude is tormenting his wife and her lover very insanely, and it's very creepy, it's very eerie, especially when, as they're buried up to their necks, the tide is fucking churning in, and eventually they both drown, but they both come back at the end as zombies to get revenge. And it's just a creepy, like, the look of the zombies are very scary, the whole aesthetic. The acting between Danson and Nielsen is very good. There's a great tension. It's eerie. It's just a great conundrum of, a lover's quarrel, of a lover's triangle, or someone getting caught cheating. And it's just an all-around pretty fascinating story. I just don't like how it started so abruptly, and I wish it was more fleshed out. I wish this one could have been the last story that was a little bit longer and just had more detail into it, because they just captured a snapshot of a very cool film concept, if you ask me. So that's why it's not that high on the list, because it was very unfinished. Coming in at number 4, the one that starts off Creepshow 2 that I actually fuck with a lot, is Old Chief Woodenhead. In a small town called Dead River, Ray and Martha Spruce are an elderly couple who run the small town's general store, whose decor includes a cigar store Indian named Old Chief Woodenhead. The Spruces are visited by Benjamin Whitemoon, the elder of a local Native American tribe, and he gives them a bag of all their treasures. He's like, hey, we're in debt. Like, it's bad to be in debt, but it's worse to be beggars, so please hold on to this. And Ray is such a nice guy. He's like, I can't do that. He's like, please don't make us beg. Keep all this treasure. And it's kind of a come up for Ray and his wife. But then as the native man leaves, his nephew or grandson and his band of ragtag misfit homies come in and they rob the store blind. And Ray's like, you shouldn't be doing this, bro. These are your family's heirlooms. We're such nice people. We've known you since you were a kid. And during the midst and chaos, the dude robbing the store accidentally ends up shooting Ray's wife and killing her. And when he panics, he kills Ray, and they get away with the money until the Old Chief Woodenhead statue exacts its revenge and comes back and picks apart these motherfuckers one by one. It's campy, it's a slasher, it's a little eerie, but it's a little quirky and funny, and it's just a good vibe all around, if you ask me. And number 3, I have a feeling might be most people's favorites, but honestly, I didn't like it as a kid, and throughout my life, I wasn't that sold on it, that hooked on it until recently, where I realized it's actually way better than I ever envisioned. But all the years of hate made me realize it's not my favorite, and I don't think it ever will be, which is The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill. That's right, we get a great, not only is it a cameo, but a leading role from the horror master himself, Stephen King. He plays Jordy Verrill, this lonesome hillbilly redneck that lives on a farm. He's very dim-witted and kind of slow, and one night he's outside when a meteor crashes into his yard, and this one's very funny. It's very quirky, very sci-fi. Meteor crashes down. He has like these daydreams where he's like, I can take this down to the university and get money. And Stephen King, I wish he did more roles like this, because he was, not only was he funny and super like interesting and stood out, he was good at acting, and it was very funny too. But all the torture and drama happen as he touches the ooze from this meteor, and it starts pretty much invasively taking over his body, and like fucking, he starts growing like plants all over him, and he kind of slowly descends into madness as he reaches more and more far gone from being attacked by this meteor, whatever species you want to call it. It's very extraterrestrial, it's very cool, and I feel like it's an interesting concept that you don't see much. Not the aliens as much as it is the meteor that like spreads weeds all over you and fucking slowly like takes over your life. Jordy starts to lose it, he starts to chug alcohol. He talks to his dead father in the mirror, and then his dad's like, you're dumb, dude. He's like, water is what's going to make this plant grow. And then Jordy's just so itchy and agitated, he jumps in the bath until he's covered from head to toe like a mothman. Like a moss man, not the Mothman, and blows his head off. And it has a very eerie ending that makes it better, where as he kills himself on the radio, it's like, there's going to be a lot of rain here, folks, so expect a lot of rain and a lot of plants to blossom, as we see that his whole farm alone is covered up, and you're like, damn, that's just going to take over all the fucking state, bro. Now we're on the number 2. The top 2 are my personal favorite, and they always have been. It's never wavered. I'm kind of nervous to tell you guys what my number 2 is, because I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with my number 1. Right now, I know what you're thinking. You're going to be like, he is choosing this one as number 1, and I'm not. Number 2 is The Raft. I know, dude. This one has always fucking stood out to me. I just love the vibe of it. The summertime. Like, summertime and slashers just fit so hand in hand together, because it's like they go against each other, the opposite side of a coin, but they work so well. It reminds you of like, Friday the 13th, Sleepaway Camp, Evil Dead, all that crazy shit when it's nice and something. Like Chance the Rapper says, everybody dies in the summer, and it's like, woo. I am fucking dumb, because it's not... my whole life I thought it was a summer vibe, but the plot clearly states in mid-October 4 college students arrive at Cascade Beach, a desolate lake from their civilization, for some fun. So it's in October, but if you didn't tell me it was in October, I wouldn't have known. So fuck what I said, it's not what I meant. Regardless, fall swimming's cool too. But yeah, they swim out in the middle of the water onto this raft, and like Creepshow does the best with the Cray and other stories, the meteor, there's just something fucking wicked lurking. Something wicked this way comes lurking that there's unexplainable, and it's this giant blob in the water that if it touches their skin, it disintegrates them and kills them. And it's just a nice, slow-paced, slow burn, dreary, tense one location scene where they're on the raft and they're trying to escape this bloody murder. You really are rooting for some of the teens to survive, and it has a great ending where when the final guy finally swims as fast as he can and gets to the corner of the beach, he goes, I beat you, and then the giant monster comes up and eats him, and it's like no one survives. It's just a fun, cool story. But that's right, if you haven't guessed it, my personal favorite, and it always has been, and I think it's the creepiest of the bunch, is the first story of the first Creepshow, Father's Day. Sylvia Grantham meets her nephew Richard and niece Cass, along with Cass's new husband Hank, at the Grantham estate for the family's annual dinner on the third Sunday in June. As all this has happened, they're very uppity, richy, snobby, pretentious, and as they're doing this, you think it's gonna be a boring night. Sylvia tells them the story about her sister, Bedelia, who spent her whole life catering to her father's whims. Like, her father was like kind of a jackass, a piece of shit, abusive, kind of made them do whatever he wanted. They were at his whim. And then one day she snapped and kills him. So present day, she's telling this ghost story. She's like, she'll be here soon. Bedelia's a very oddball, eccentric lady, but she'll be here at dinner, and then you'll get to know her. But as Bedelia's coming up, and I just love the aesthetic look and vibe of her. She's so creepy and, off kilter and fun. Just the whole the look and design of this specific story, I love a lot. On her way to dinner, before she goes to the house, she stops to visit her father's grave and reminisces on killing him. And there's that great iconic scene is, where's my birthday cake, Bedelia? I want my birthday cake. And let's just say, like a lot of times in Stephen King stories and Creepshow, the dead come back to exact their revenge, and he digs out of his grave and starts picking off and killing everybody one by one, and serves a head on the platter as his birthday cake. Hell yeah. But yeah, guys, that's the whole Creepshow in a nutshell. I really fucking love this movie a lot, part 1 and 2. I love them both. They all stand out very well. They're all very different from each other, and I feel like even being different from each other, they're all very exclusive to Stephen King's vibe. There's not one Creepshow segment or Creepshow 2 segment where you watch it and you're like, oh, this reminds me of another movie. Like, they're all standalone stories that work well. Even Tales from the Crypt have some that are kind of catered and borrowed by other IPs. But yeah, every time, you know, they have this theme throughout where a lot of times something horrendous or terrible happens. It like zooms in on the character with a comic book background, and their reaction is overhyped and over terrified, like, and it just feels like a comic book on a movie, and it's really cool. All the practical effects are great, and my biggest thing that I like that Tales from the Crypt does as well is like a lot of the stories, they're like rich, uppity, or upper middle class people that are dealing with this, so it's not like poor folk. It's not like your average person dealing with it. Like the first story, they're all aristocrats. The one about the bugs, he's a fucking millionaire, you know. In Creepshow 2, the Raft is just a bunch of rich college kids, so it just takes people with money and power and nothing to worry about, and they get attacked by supernatural entities and monsters and demons, and it's cool. But alright guys, have you seen either of these movies? Comment down and let me know. Do you agree with this list? If you don't, that's chill. I would love to know your list. Please comment your list down below. I'm curious so I can roast it. But alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, give me a thumber, hit that ding ring button, harassing you, telling you, hey, it's me, I'm here. And I'm gonna say it 1 time for the 1 time and 2 time for the O's. Give me a hell yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
2023's Talk to Me, which you think that movie was gritty and awesome. Let's just say that this film that just released is way more fine-tuned, impactful, and deeply disturbing.